Hi guys and welcome. In today's video I'm going to be making a curtain up with just 3-inch heading tape on it. Now when you're going to go down the road of making your own curtains, there's a few things that you need to bear in mind, like pattern matching, seam allowance, shading, what else have I got? And shrinkage. Now when you buy your fabric, take into account when you've measured how long you want your curtain to, put your seam allowance on for your hem. I work on a 3-inch hem, which is 2-inch hem and an inch turned in, giving me 3-inch. On the heading tape, I just work on an inch. So with the 3 at the bottom and the 1 at the top, for one curtain, I need to add 4-inch on. On the side, your width, you're going to lose 4-inch on that because you're turning it over an inch, then you're turning it again. So you've got 2-inch on one side, 2-inch on another. So you need to take that into account with the width of the curtain when you're getting what width you want to finish with. Now, if you're just doing one pair of curtains with one width on each side, you just need to pattern match once, because you'll just cut your first piece, your first curtain, and then you've got to pattern match the second one to the first. And it's just the same like when you're doing wallpaper. When you're putting a patterned wallpaper on your wall, you've got to pattern match it, haven't you? That's exactly the same what you have to do with patterned curtains. You want the pattern running through. If you are you want to more gather in your curtain, so you maybe put a width and half or 2 widths into one curtain. So let's say, for instance, if you're going to have 2 widths, so you've got a really lot of gathering, that means you're going to have 4 pieces to make one pair, which means you need to pattern match 3 times. So you need to find out what the inch is with the pattern match, because it can be anything from an inch to, well, the sky's the limit depending how big the pattern is in the print. So let's say, for instance, it was a 13-inch difference that you had to pattern match. You'd have to do that 3 times to give you 39-inch, which would be an extra metre you have to buy to get your pattern match on a pair of curtains that's got 4 pieces in it. Now, shrinkage, if it's a fabric you're going to be washing, the chances are it is going to shrink with your first wash. Now, allow extra fabric for shrinkage. Wash your fabric before you start making your curtains. So wash it, dry it, press it, and then you've got your fabric that's being washed, and then do your curtains. You can do a hem as well, as deep as you like. You don't have to do a 2-inch hem like I've done. You could do a 5-inch hem and then have an inch turning. So you've got what that's going to give you. It's going to give you a bit more weight in your curtains, so it will probably hang better. You also want to take into account, if you were working with a velvet, that you get the pile going the right way. Because if you cut them, and this is if you're doing like 4 pieces that you're going to make into 2 curtains, and if one gets turned the wrong way, your pile's going to be wrong. And with shading, it's going to stand out a mile with velvet, because you've got a soft and the rough, aren't you? So whether the soft goes down and the rough goes up, or the other way around, you need to make sure that it's either smooth or rough on all pieces going the same direction, so you don't get a shading problem. If you're going for a wider fabric and the material is heavy, take that into account, that if you've got double width, it's going to be a heavy pair of curtains. Make sure that either your track or your curtain pole is put into your wall very securely to take the weight. So if you want plenty of gather, consider putting more in your width to get you the gather that you want. Just make sure, don't rush into taking your measurements. Like I said, measure how long you want your curtains to, from the top to the bottom. Add your hem on, whether you decide to do a bigger hem or a shorter one. Add that on, and then you can even put a 2-inch overturn on the tape if you want to do, but there really is no need. You only need to turn an inch over on the top. And then if you are going for a pattern fabric, take into account how deep the pattern is, and then allow that in your meterage, because if you get it short, and you could be half a metre short on one of the pieces, it can be an expensive mistake if you're going for a really good quality fabric. So this is the piece of fabric, guys, that's going to be the curtain. So I'm just going to start by clipping down the side seams. So you're going to lose 2 inches on each side when you're doing this. So you're turning it over 1 inch, and then you're going to turn it over another inch, and then you're going to clip that or pin it in place. Now you could go to the iron and press it in place if you wanted to, but I normally press mine when I've finished it. So if you're not sure on your measurement, you can get your sewing gauge or your tape measure and just measure 2 inch and then fold 1 inch in if you're not sure on your measurement. Right, I need pins for the bottom because obviously the clips aren't going to reach it. Let's get one of them, and then I'm going to pin that. So on this end, I can still stitch to the bottom and then turn that bit over. You know, say me coming back to the table and doing it. Right, so that's 3, turning the inch under. Alright, so I'm going to come to this side seam and then just start clipping this side down like I did the last side. Right, so I'm going to start off with a back tack. So I'm going to aim to stitch just inside this edge. Back tack at the end. I'm going to remove all the clips at this point and do the other side seam. Right, so I'm going to go to the opposite side and get this hem stitched. Right, where's my, just get me 3 inch there, turn it up to there, turn that inch under. And then again, I'm stitching close to the edge. Back tack again. Okay, and then I'm just going to make sure that this is laying flat. Take that pin out. And I'm not actually pulling it at the back, I'm just making sure that it's going through straight. Because then doing that, just sewing, if I'm holding that, it's like I'm not pulling it, but I'm just holding it. Is it taut? Is the word taut? And I'm just going to make sure that that inch is turned inside and not hanging out. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to come down and stitch that end closed. So I'm coming down to the end and stitching that. So that's just finishing the end off. So I'm going to go to the other side and then I'm going to stitch this side down to close it. So you can see that's a nice, neat corner at the end. Right, so what I'm going to do now then, I'm going to go to the top and start putting I'm putting 3-inch heading tape on it. So you can see with that there isn't really a right or wrong way. It's pretty much same both sides. So I'm going to put about 2-inch coming in, and then I'm just going to turn, just get my first measurement there. So bring that up, and then you're pulling that tape back like so. So you've got it like that. So you've got your tape in, 2-inch, turn that in, and then fold, just get that off that needle, folding that tape back, and you're going to just come, so you've just got a little bit there. Let me just put that under, a back tack, and then you're just going along, turning your inch over, making sure that it's coming the same amount, and then where I've got this stitch in here, just going to come slightly underneath that. And if you're not happy sewing it freehand like I'm doing, you can always go to your table or your work surface and pin your tape in position. So when I get to the end, just get rid of them 2 threads. I'm going to come 2-inch past the end, put that tape, and then I'm going to tuck that end underneath that inch turnover. And then a good back tack. So now what you can do now is, if you're not happy going to sew it again freehand like I'm doing, you can go to your table, lay this down, get a pin, and then just pin it ever so often as you're going across. You're feeling underneath to make sure that it's flat, that there's no ripples or tucks. Putting a pin in, so you can see there that it's laying flat, but because I've been doing them for donkey's years, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just come, do a back tack, and then again I'm just going to hold it flat and stitching just above where that dotted dark line is again, making sure that your tape just comes to the end there again, on the end there. Back tack, and that is your tape on. So this is the finished curtain, guys. I've pressed the side seams so you can see that they're quite small once they've been pressed on in place, and you can see that these are really, really easy to do. So there's nothing odd to making curtains. You've seen that it's pretty easy to do. Now I am going to do a video on how to do line curtains, but I need the assistance of my youngest daughter Katie, so she's coming in a week, so we are going to actually have some sewing days next week, so I'll do it one day when she's here, because it's a faff when you're having to lay it out when you're on your own. So I'm going to ask Katie to help me with that one. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's been useful for you guys. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed it and it's been useful, hit that thumbs up, because it does help me on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Take care for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.